The book of Ruth was written in the days when the judges ruled, it says right at the beginning, and that was a tough time in Israel's history. They were living with the consequences of not doing all that God had commanded them to do when they entered into the land and conquered peoples. And so now we find this really remarkable story of faithfulness and loyalty in the midst of chaos and people just looking out for themselves. Naomi found herself to be a widow, and not only that, tragically both of her sons die. And in those days that meant that your economic and social stability was gone. And she had both of her daughters-in-law with her. At first they both come with her when she decides to return to Israel from Moab. And along the way, she gives them the opportunity to say, look, Orpah, Ruth, you don't need to come. This is going to be really tough for you. You're Moabite women. You're not going to be accepted in Israel. Don't do it. But still, Ruth stays faithful. Orpah heads home. Ruth stays faithful. And when they get there, Ruth meets a man who is also loyal, also faithful, and does the right things, and is godly. And he is called Boaz. He becomes their kinsman redeemer. He marries Ruth, and he does so because it's the right thing to do. In those days, if there was a widow in your family, your role was to turn to her and say, okay, I've got compassion on you, and I will love you, I will marry you, I will spend the rest of my days with you, protecting you. And that's what he did. And that is something that we don't see enough of in our society. We don't see enough of loyalty and faithfulness. Loyalty and faithfulness, like God's faithfulness towards us, are the foundation for redeeming communities that are full of loss, abandonment, and social poverty. How much does Glasgow need good men and women like Ruth and Boaz, faithful and willing to do what is right? We need more than programs. We need godliness. People who look at people's character and not at the superficial. There was actually another kinsman redeemer who was first in line to redeem Ruth before Boaz, but he rejected it because he heard that she was a Moabite woman. Boaz did the right thing, and it was the godly thing. Glasgow needs Jesus, and it needs people willing to follow in his faithful ways, just like Boaz and just like Ruth.